Hello and welcome to the November 16th, 2022 edition of the Bobby Hesley Show. How's everybody doing this morning? Well, I hope. Blessed, I hope. I'm certainly doing well this morning. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. Guys, make sure to check out my YouTube channel. I'm kind of getting back into it. I've been kind of off lately, the last few years, actually. I don't know, but I've been having the bug lately. There's been lots going on that's kind of hard to stay silent about. So again, please like, share, and subscribe this video. Be sure to weigh in on the comments. Be sure to interact. It's always good to be with you guys. So let's just get right to it. I'm sure we've all heard by now that Donald J. Trump has announced his candidacy for the 2024 presidential election. Now, let me just get right to how I feel, guys. Lately, you guys have probably been shocked and surprised by me, but I think some of you haven't, because a lot of you feel the same way that I felt, that I basically withdrew my support for Donald Trump. I kind of got off the Trump train with how he attacked Ron DeSantis, but that wasn't the only reason that I got off the Trump train, that I publicly basically, renounced my support for Donald Trump. The other reason was just with how all of his backed candidates lost during the midterms, it really made me not feel confident that he could be a good influence in the party. It just made me feel like he was a liability to everybody. And in a sense, he still is, and I'll get into why that is. But I got to say this, though. The reason a lot of you started following me in the first place these last couple of years, from when I started my channel 8,000 miles across the road all the way in Thailand, was because a lot of you guys admired the fact that as a black conservative, that I think for myself, that I don't think monolithically, right? A lot of people critique the black community because we tend to vote and think monolithically. We have this blind loyalty to these horrible candidates, usually Democrats. And no matter what the Democrats do, no matter how many babies they kill, no matter how many black families they destroy with their family busting welfare programs, no matter how many racist statements they make, like Joe Biden, we've lost track of all the racist statements he's made. We always critique people in the black community because they blindly support their candidates no matter what, right? And that's why a lot of black conservatives are admired, because they, quote unquote, leave the Democrat plantation, as lots of the corporate MAGA people like to say. They leave the Democrat plantation, and then we admire them because they broke their blind loyalty to the candidate and they think for themselves. And they're like, wow, it's really cool thinking for yourself. But it's just funny how quickly that admiration is turned off when you think for yourself and you don't support Donald Trump because of his behavior. It's amazing how many conservatives unfollowed me, unsupported me, turned on me just like that the minute I slightly critiqued Donald Trump. But wait a minute, I thought that's why you guys love me. I thought you love the conservative black guy who thinks for himself, that doesn't vote monolithically, that doesn't vote on a Republican plantation. Because don't get it twisted, folks. Just because blacks leave the Democrat, quote unquote, Democrat plantation and decide to join the Republican Party, that doesn't mean the Republican Party has to become a monolithic plantation either. And I got to admit, I saw a lot of cult-like behavior in the MAGA movement. Lots of MAGA people immediately unfollowed me when I had the slightest critique of Donald Trump. And I had some pretty legit critiques, guys. I had some very legit critiques. Is the video not clear, guys? Let me know how the video quality is. It's saying that I've got kind of a lower connection. Let me know if you guys can see it. But the fact is, I think for myself, that same black conservative Bobby Hesley that you guys love and admire, that thinks for himself, that doesn't vote monolithically, well, guess what? That applies to Donald Trump too. It's choppy, huh? Okay, hold on a second, guys. Let me come out and come back in and see if that fixes it. Okay. Hopefully that's better. I'm showing a low internet connection signal, actually. So maybe it's, I don't know, maybe it's something going on in the area that makes the quality low. But let's keep rolling. But the fact is, guys, you can't fault me. You can't, out of one side of your mouth, you can't admire me for not thinking monolithically and not being a Democrat just because I'm black. And then at the same time, hate on me just because I have a legit critique of Donald Trump. And I'll be honest, there's lots of conservatives that felt like they were kind of in a rock and a hard place. They, they didn't want to speak against Trump. I could see a lot of analysis from when he attacked Ron DeSantis last week, even when all those people, even when we got killed in the primaries, there were lots of people that didn't quite know how they should publicly approach Donald Trump because they were in a rock and a hard place. But I don't care, man. I speak the truth. I call it how I see it. But I'm going to say this, guys, and hopefully when the video is rendered, the quality will be better. So just hang in there with me on that. You're right, Wayne. Welcome to being a black Republican. It's all love until you disagree on one issue. I know. I got to admit, Wayne, I thought Democrats were the only people that can make us feel like coons. I kind of felt like a coon from the Republican side, if I'm being honest. Guys, here's the thing. The beauty is God has blessed me in the private sector. I do very well in real estate. That's why I've been off camera these last few years. I'm doing great. I don't do this for super chats. I don't do it for money. I don't have sponsors. I'm not trying to sell stuff. So I'm not beholden to Donald Trump, guys. I don't have to lose my income if I speak against Donald Trump. There's a lot of people. Let's face it, guys. There's a lot of people that have made a lot of money off of MAGA. A lot. There's a lot of people that have made millions of dollars. They've built entire brands off of MAGA. Entire brands. Entire channels. Entire brands. MAGA has changed their lives. There's MAGA rappers. There's MAGA talk show hosts. There's MAGA apparel people that make MAGA cups and MAGA shirts and MAGA hats and MAGA this and MAGA that. MAGA is good business. MAGA is big business. MAGA is big money. Okay? I never got into MAGA for the big business and the big money, because for everybody who followed me for these last couple of years, you guys saw how hard I went for Donald Trump. I did it all for free. And that's another reason I was so ticked off and felt kind of betrayed by Donald Trump a little bit when he started acting the way he did. Because all that free work that I did for him a few years ago, the fool I made of myself for Donald Trump, thank God I'm self-employed because I'd have been long canceled by now. But everything that I did and went through for Donald Trump, I feel like he started kind of throwing it away a few weeks ago with how he was acting. And I had a right to speak on that. Okay? But again, be consistent in that admiration for black conservatives who don't think monolithically. Don't praise me for not thinking monolithically, for not voting Democrat like a lot of other blacks do. And at the same time, blame me for not thinking monolithically when I dare to speak out against Donald Trump. Now, let's talk about last night's announcement. I got to say, I feel like there are two Trumps, okay? I feel like there's Donald Trump, which is the petty New Yorker who's incapable of picking his own battles, right? That petty, petulant, scorekeeping Donald Trump that we all know, right? Little Marco, Ron DeSanctimonious, Crooked Hillary, Sleepy Joe. There's that Donald Trump, okay? But then there's President Trump. And I got to say, folks, what I saw last night was President Trump. I didn't see Donald Trump last night. I saw President Trump last night. And I got to admit, these last few weeks, and not even the last few weeks, guys, to be honest, these last couple of years, my support for Donald Trump started to erode with how he let those January 6th protesters rot in jail. He told everybody to come to D.C., to fight like hell, fight for Trump, stop the steal. We're going to march to the Capitol. They came 3 different times to D.C., and there are people that were set up. They're still sitting in jail for taking selfies next to George Washington portraits inside the Capitol when they were waved in by the cops. The Capitol Police told them to come in. You can even see footage of them within the lines. They're in the little, the little museum lines. They're taking little selfies. They weren't trying to burn things down. Okay. And some of them are still rotting in jail. And Trump never pardoned them. Trump never mentioned their name. That's when I started to kind of question him a little bit, because I think that was cold with how he didn't, help those people that helped them. Okay. And then you top the fact that he did what he did with Ron DeSantis. I was about to call him Marco Rubio because I still remember him saying little Marco. All of his endorsements lost. It just kind of added up, and the straw was broken on the camel's back, if that makes sense. But I will say this. I was a Trump atheist last night. And again, I'm using an analogy. I know he's not God. Chill out. But I've been upgraded after his speech last night with how Trump conducted himself last night. I have been upgraded to a Trump agnostic. Okay. I'm no longer a Trump atheist. I'm a Trump agnostic. Okay. Now, he gave a great speech last night. I'm going to go ahead and roll the clip real quick of Donald Trump announcing his presidency for 2024, which, let's face it, folks, we all knew he was going to do that. We all saw it coming. We all knew he was going to do that. It is what it is. So let's roll the clip.
Always have known that this was not the end. It was only the beginning of our fight to rescue the American dream. And it's a word you don't use, 2 words. I don't want to be Joe. It's 2 words, American dream. That was not good what he did. There are a lot of bad things, like going to Idaho and saying, welcome to the state of Florida. I really love it. In order to make America great and glorious again, I am tonight announcing my candidacy for President of the United States.
Okay, now, folks, and again, I'm not gonna play the whole clip because I don't want to be on here super long, which I always violate every time I stream. But you know, you guys can find it. Just go on YouTube, just type in Donald Trump 2024 announcement. Watch the whole speech. I thought it was a fantastic speech. In fact, I thought it was one of the best speeches he ever gave since he became a politician back in 2015. But I want you guys to take note of all the cheers in the crowd, right? Everybody was cheering for Trump. You know who else was cheering last night, folks? And this is what should concern you. And this is why I'm not like super duper quick to go, okay, Donald Trump, I'll vote for you again. I'm sorry I disowned you, Donald Trump. You got me back. You know who else was cheering last night, guys? Joe Biden and the Democrats. They've been hoping and praying that Donald Trump would run. And they've been hoping and praying that Donald Trump would make this announcement. Now, I know some of you think, yeah, they are, Wayne. They are excited. They were cheering just as much, if not as loud, as all those people at Mar-a-Lago last night. Now, conventional wisdom would tell us, hey, the Democrats aren't excited. The Democrats are terrified of Donald Trump. The deep state and big tech and all these guys, they are terrified of Trump, and they were hoping and praying that he wouldn't run because he's the one guy that's standing in the way of the globalist agenda, and he's standing in the way of the World Economic Forum, and he's going to prevent us from going into a sci-fi movie type dystopia that we see. Okay. And that's not true, guys. That's actually not true at all. They were hoping that he would run because Joe Biden has complete power and control over the Department of Justice, which they are going to weaponize against Trump. They already have. They raided Mar-a-Lago. The very place he made the announcement last night was raided a few months ago. And I think they're going to try to put Trump in prison. I think, in my opinion, okay, I'm just some humble guy on social media, right? But in my opinion, I think his announcement was way too soon. In my opinion, I think Donald Trump should have announced it next year. I don't think he should have announced it 2 years out. And technically, we're still in the middle of the midterms. I don't think he should have made a 2024 presidential announcement for his candidacy while we're still in the midterms. Now, what am I talking about? I'm not talking about Arizona where they're still counting and stuff in the ballots and doing everything they can to get Hobbs over. The fact is we have a runoff election in Georgia. So technically the 2022 midterms are still open for business right now. And for Trump to announce a candidacy during the midterms, I don't know. I don't know if that's ever been done before. But here's another fact, guys. Let's talk about the World Economic Forum real quick. For those of you who don't know, the World Economic Forum is run by a guy named Klaus Schwab. They're a globalist, evil entity. I believe that they're the elites. Whenever we hear about this 1% elite, these cartels, these global cabals, all this stuff like that, I trace it all back to the World Economic Forum. And what's interesting, guys, is the World Economic Forum. Here's a question I have. Let me share my screen with you guys, just so you can see what I'm talking about here. My question to you guys is this, and I want you to really look inside yourself. Why is Ivanka Trump, why is the daughter of Donald Trump a member of the World Economic Forum? This is a question I've had for a while. I don't understand that. Why is Ivanka Trump? Let me give you another example. The Forum of Young Global Leaders. Do you know that Ivanka Trump is a part of that? Guys, do you know who the World Economic Forum is? The World Economic Forum, this is part the young global leaders that are part of the WEF. Do you realize that these are people who talk about, well, yeah, we need to pray for his salvation, Debbie, that's for sure. But the World Economic Forum are people that say that by the year 2030, you'll have nothing and you'll be happy. If they had it their way, we would all be eating bags of bugs and in the name of saving the planet from climate change. Okay. And what's interesting is that Ivanka Trump is not going to be a part. She was very quick to get out ahead of the fact that she is not going to be a part of Donald Trump's 2024 campaign. She released this very quickly. She said, I love my father very much. This time around, I am choosing to prioritize my young children and the private life we are creating as a family. I do not plan to be involved in politics. While I will always love and support my father, going forward, I will do so outside the political arena. I'm grateful to have had the opportunity of serving the American people, and I will always be proud of many of our administration's accomplishments, Ivanka Trump. Eric was there. Don Jr. was not there, from what I understand. But the fact is, Donald Trump's daughter was very quick to make it known that she's not going to be a part of it. Now, can you blame her, guys? Everything the Trump family has been through, all of that hell, that nonstop hell that the Trump family has been put through by the rhinos, the never Trumpers of the Republican Party, all the Democrats, the media, big tech. I mean, can you really blame her for not wanting to go through 4 more years of that? I actually don't blame her. I'm not going to read too much into that and say, oh, it's a conspiracy. There's division within the Trump family and Trump. I'm not going to take it there. We're not privy eyes. We don't know the Trumps. We don't have, insider information like that. Did I say that she's jumped ship, Renee? Please keep your words out of my mouth. I didn't say that she's jumping ship. I didn't say she's jumping ship at all. I don't know if you're directing that at me or other commenters, but she's not jumping ship. She just announced that she's just not going to be a part of it, which I don't blame her. I'm actually defending her decision. Oh, that was you, Wayne? Is that you that she was going at? Okay. Okay. Sorry about that, Renee. I've been dealing with so many Trump trolls lately. Like I said, what I don't understand about MAGA is that MAGA admires black conservatives for thinking for themselves, and they send them super chats and lots of money, and they make them rich and famous. But the minute one of those conservatives critiques Donald Trump, you would think I became a pro-abortion black Democrat, So I'm just kind of used to this negative Trump energy I've been getting from people. So forgive me for misunderstanding it. But obviously it's going to be a very different campaign this time around. He's not going to have his daughter. I don't know if Don Jr. is going to be around either. And I don't blame either of them if they choose not to be. But here's the bottom line, guys. Donald Trump is going to have to re-earn my vote. Like I said, I've been upgraded from a Trump atheist to a Trump agnostic after last night's speech. I'm not just going to jump back in the saddle for Trump just like that. Because again, I think for myself, right? The same reason I'm not doing that is the very reason you guys admire me as a black conservative. I don't just whore out my vote to whoever tickles my ears, right? That's what you guys criticize black Democrats for all the time, right? Okay, so don't criticize me for not doing that. Okay, Trump has to re-earn my vote, man. He's still kind of in the doghouse. The other thing I worry about is Donald Trump going to make it for another 2 years? Can he survive all the legal and criminal hell that they're going to try to bring down on him? He's already had the IRS after him. He's already got the FBI after him. Who else is Biden and the Democrats going to stick on Trump? Can he survive that? That's a legit question, guys. He's got a lot against him. And he absolutely did keep his promises, Renee. See, let me be honest, guys. Okay, so let me get more into last night's speech, okay? When I was watching Donald Trump last night, I got to say, for the first time in 2 years, and I'm just being transparent here, for the first time in 2 years, I kind of felt hope and optimism last night when I was listening to President Trump. Because we didn't see Donald Trump last night. We saw President Trump last night, and there's a difference between the two. Donald Trump is the guy that I've been railing against lately. President Trump is the guy that I saw last night. And let me say this for the record. Just because I'm an anti-Trumper, or I have been an anti-Trumper, doesn't make me a never-Trumper. I need you guys to know the difference. right? Never Trumpism, in my opinion, has devolved into a mental disorder. Okay. Donald Trump can save a child from a burning building. Okay. And there will still be never Trumpers that will, like, question his motives for doing that. That'll still find some way to critique him for doing that. Well, he didn't get in there as quick as he could. And he kind of, he didn't use the proper rescue technique when he saved this girl's life from a burning building. That's how never Trumpers are, guys. I'll never be a never Trumper. Don't worry about that. I'm a rational, sane guy, right? But I have been an anti-Trumper for all the reasons that I've mentioned. But here's the other thing. Trump was very poised last night. He was very mature. It made me realize, it kind of made me forget how great America actually was while he's been in office. These last 2 years of Biden, of Jim Crow Joe, have been so horrible that it kind of quickly erased all of our memories of just how awesome of a president Donald Trump was. And there's a lot of things that he said. That's exactly right. He's not perfect, but his policies are right on for the most part. There's some things he did towards the end, Elma, that I didn't like, which I'll talk about in other videos. But, the fact is, these last 2 years of Biden has made us quickly forget just how awesome it was under Donald Trump. And if he was still in office, let's face it, Russia wouldn't be at war right now. He kept us out of wars, man. We're on the brink of World War III, guys. A Russian missile landed in Poland last night and killed 2 people. I do not think that would have happened if Donald Trump was in office. I don't think inflation would be, approaching double digits if Trump were in office. There's a lot that's going on right now that would not be going on had Trump remained in office. Okay. Gas would probably be under $1.50 by now. A lot of stuff would be going right now. Okay. Debbie says we need to support Trump as a candidate, regardless if you like him or not. Reason, the simple fact that the Biden admin is destroying their opponent, who 50% of the American people support. If they can do it to him, they will do it to you. Well, and here's the thing. I do want to see what some of the other candidates are going to be like. I do want to see, I came from Ukraine, huh, Tish? That's interesting. Jeff, good to hear from you. I'm a bit confused. You said he didn't pardon the Jan 6 people. Like he left office 14 days after January 6th. So how and when was he going to pardon them, especially since they didn't really ramp up all the arrest prosecutions till afterward? That's an interesting point, Jeffrey. Here's the issue I took. He certainly had time, and you'll understand this better than anybody else, Jeff, because we live locally here in Detroit. He certainly had time to pardon Kwame Kilpatrick, didn't he? On his way out. He certainly had time to pardon. Who was the rapper he pardoned? There was some rapper he pardoned. He pardoned people on the way out. Why didn't he at least, let people know, hey, I got you. You were there for me. You fought like hell. You fought for Trump. You tried to hashtag stop the steal. I got you. He didn't speak on that. What's going to be interesting, and I'm sad to say this, Jeffrey, but I think this is going to be the case. He's not even going to mention their names now. If it was the right thing to do to free those people that were unjustly jailed, that are still rotting in those DC prisons right now, is he going to speak on it during the 2024 campaign? Is he going to run on that? Is that going to be one of his promises that he runs on, that if I'm elected, I will pardon the people that fought for America on January 6th, that fought for me, that fought like hell? Is he going to do that? I doubt he'll do that. I don't think he wants all that smoke that'll come from that. But I think it would be the right thing to do. On day one, is he going to start pardoning these people? Let's say he gets reelected in 2024. Okay, and I would like to see a clip, conservative Corianne, of him doing that. If you could show me a clip, that'd be great, because I'd like to. I would love to see those people get pardoned. So if you have a receipt or if you have some clips, that you can send me, shoot those over, Corianne, please. I'd love to see them. Shoot those over, Jeff. Put them in the comments. I'd like to see those. I'd like to see it. Listen, I hope I'm wrong about that. Okay. Well, good. I hope, again, promises made, promises kept, right? I hope that's a promise that he keeps, that he made. So let's keep going here. So the speech last night, he said some interesting things about executing drug dealers. That really would eliminate the drug problem, guys. It really would. that really would eliminate the drug problem. I wish I could copy and paste that link. I can't. Yeah, so I'll do another video on that. I got some unfinished business with Trump about these political prisoners that are still rotting for him. And while we're on that topic, guys, here's another thing that Donald Trump needs to realize. And again, I know we a lot of us still have not gotten over 2020. He's got to back off 2020, guys, for two reasons. One, you can't be talking about the 2020 elections in 2024. That's just going to be a bad look. And they're hoping that he does that. They are hoping that Trump can be the election denial candidate. Did you see some of the headlines, for example, of Carrie Lake, for example? It said election denier denied in Arizona. They love that term, election denier, even though they're the original OG election deniers with the Russian collusion story that Hillary fabricated back in 2016 when she couldn't cope with her loss. The original election deniers are Democrats, guys. That ain't us. If anything, they taught us how to be election deniers. But they are hoping that Trump does not let go of 2020 because they're going to hammer him as the election denier. They're going to keep bringing that up. And I think that'll hurt him the way it hurt the candidates in the midterms last week, right? So I hope he backs off that. But the other thing I like the way Donald Trump referred to these last 2 years, and it'll be 4 years by the time he runs, as a pause, right? He said the economy was more prosperous than ever in the nation history. Everything was going awesome. And he referred to the Biden administration as a pause. He said, yes, we've suffered a pause, but if I get back in office, I'm going to make things better. Here's what my words of encouragement are, guys, because I don't want to go too long here, is have some self-esteem with your approach to Donald Trump. What do I mean by that? Make the man earn your vote, guys. Make the man earn your vote. Now, some of you will say, well, he earned my vote because of everything he did in 2020. I voted for him again. He's already earned my vote. And that's partially true. But we have to see how he handles himself. 2 years is a long time, guys. I know Trump said it'll go by quickly, and it will if we keep busy and we keep our nose to the grindstone. But it's also a very long time. A lot can happen in 2 years. And I hope that Trump does not divide the party. I mean, I think it's a little bit unavoidable during primaries whenever it's open and everybody wants to be at the top of the ticket. But I will say this. If Donald Trump stays on message like he did last night, if he keeps the focus on the horrendous failures of Joe Biden, if he keeps the focus on inflation, on the economy, on how we're no longer energy independent, on the horrific things going on at the border, on how crime is high, on all this woke stuff that's going on in schools, all these kids being transed and sexualized in schools, if he stays on message, he really would be unbeatable. And I actually would get behind him again. I truly would. Because Trump can say something that nobody else can say in 2024. You know what he could say? He could say everything that these people are talking about that they'll do if they become president in 2024. I already did. I already have the track record of doing, and I have the best track record in history of doing it. Historically low black unemployment since 1973, since the Bureau of Labor Statistics even started recording that number. There are so many historical bragging rights that Donald Trump has for everything he did during those 4 years that none of the other candidates could come close to touching. And if he stays on message with that stuff, and if he stays on message attacking Biden, of course I'll get behind him again. Like I said, I'm not a never Trumper. I've just been an anti-Trumper lately, but an anti-Trumper doesn't mean I'm a never Trumper. He's given me evidence. Like I said, I've been upgraded from Trump atheism to Trump agnosticism. If he keeps the evidence coming, who knows? I might become a Trump believer once again. Again, I'm not comparing him to God. I'm just using an analogy so you guys can kind of understand where my mindset is. I want to read a quick quote from Monica Showalter. She had a great piece in the American Thinker. She said, it remains to be seen whether Trump will be the best candidate for 2024. Given the legal juggernaut the Biden administration has turned against him, his history of hiring disloyal lieutenants, his inability to admit he's ever been wrong, and the technicality of his capacity to run for just one term, as opposed to, say, Ron DeSantis, who can run for 2 terms. The shift to a more subdued tone, though, was an impressive start, proof of sorts to voters that, yes, he can avoid the mistakes he made and continue with his popular agenda. Now, Ron DeSantis has been on record. I don't know if he's changed his mind on this, but he said he's not going to run for 2024. if Trump announces his candidacy. I don't know if he's going to stick to that. If Trump runs in 2024, I don't know if it would be the best idea for DeSantis to run. I think he should probably stay in Florida, keep doing the good work he's doing there, and then maybe circle back in 2028, because I just think if it ends up being a Trump versus DeSantis, I just think it's going to split the party, and it's going to hurt everybody. It's going to hurt Trump, and it's really going to hurt DeSantis. And you know that Trump is going to immortalize some clips of him going at DeSantis that people are going to use against him in 2028. And he has proven himself, Renee. He has proven himself. I disagree with your second sentence that the other GOPers haven't. Ron DeSantis has definitely proven himself. And I don't know if they're going to do that. I don't know if all the Republicans are just going to back Trump. That's a heck of a thing for them to just lay down their chances of getting in the White House. You got to admit, guys, it'd be cool to be president, right? There's a lot of people that want the power and the prestige that comes with being president of the United States, to be leader of the free world. Do they have the virtue and the nobility to set that down just so Trump can have his third moment? I don't know if they're going to do that. But all I want to say is I love all my supporters. I love you guys. And remember, this channel primarily was built on my support for Donald Trump. And the reason why that is because it is kind of something to behold, to see a black conservative, to see a black person who thinks for himself. And guys, I've been conservative my entire life, man. I can show you guys interviews back from 2007 during the primaries of Obama when I was going against Obama, right? I'm not some conservative. I'm not a MAGA conservative in the sense that, oh, it's trendy to be a black conservative, because it kind of is. Donald Trump made it cool and hip and trendy to be a black conservative. But many of us were black conservatives long before MAGA came along. Long before Donald Trump came along, we were black conservatives. When Donald Trump was donating to Hillary Clinton back in the day, because he used to be a Hillary Clinton financial supporter, I was a conservative. I was just as pro-life, just as conservative, just as Republican as I am right now, right? And what I want you guys to do is be consistent in that admiration that you have for us black conservatives. Give us black conservatives the right to critique Donald Trump, the same thing that you admire us for when we critique the left, because we don't think monolithically. Be consistent with that. That's all. Don't be so quick to just dismiss a guy just for calling it as he sees it. Okay? Remember, we're not Democrats. This ain't the Republican plantation. Don't act like it is. Let's see what else you guys are having to say before I wrap up. I agree, Tish. Again, he needs to earn our vote. Right? He's done it before. He earned my vote in 2016. He earned my vote in 2020. He can earn it a third time. And hopefully the third time will be a charm. But he's got to stay on message. And he's got to leave all that petty crap behind, man. He needs to be President Trump, not Donald Trump, if that makes sense. If he wants to upgrade me from an agnostic to a believer again, he's got to start acting like President Trump again. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. I apologize about the quality of the video earlier. Hopefully that fixed itself. It will be interesting, Jordan, to see who else will challenge Donald Trump for the GOP nomination. That'll be interesting. There's word going around that they're trying to get rid of McConnell. I think they want Kevin McCarthy to replace him, or I don't know who they want to replace him, or who. Guys, honestly, I haven't been hardcore following everything like I used to, because all the reasons I've outlaid in my recent videos. It's all about policies over people. I agree. But to an extent, Elma, the person does matter. The person is important to an extent. If they say stupid things that are just going to like detonate their whole campaign, then that's not good. That's not good. Good point, Jay. They will attack any GOP candidate. Remember what they said about Romney and McCain, and they were rhinos. And you got a good memory, Jay, because, when John McCain and Romney ran, they were media darlings. They used to love them some John McCain. You guys remember back in the day? During the primaries, they loved John McCain. They loved him. But as soon as he won the primaries, he became the devil incarnate. So that's a good point. I'll look into that, Tish, as I get some time. It's good to see you too, Conservative Corian. It's good to see you too. It really is. Don't forget how this all started, guys. Don't forget how this all started. Keep that in mind. You guys are going to disagree with me sometimes. I don't like echo chambers. You know, I don't expect everybody to bow down and worship my opinions, but at the same time, I don't expect people to treat me like I'm a black Democrat when I critique Donald Trump. I'm still on your guys' side. Know who the friend is, know who your ally is, right? But I would be very cautious who you see the media endorse during these Republican primaries. Whoever they favor, and again, I'm talking something that's 2 years away, but whoever you guys see favor during the Republican primaries, those are usually the worst candidates. Those are establishments. Those are rhinos. Those are people they know that they could clobber after the primaries are over. And I wish Republicans would learn that lesson, man. When the media praises you, that means they think you're a crappy candidate. That's poisonous praise that they're heaping upon you because they're not supporting the guy that they're really afraid of, that they see as a legitimate threat. If they're praising you, they don't see you as a threat. And they're hoping that you eke through the primaries so that they can tear you apart with their Democrat-backed opponent. And that's how it's always been. And I hope the Republicans wisen up to that this time around. I just hope they do. I respect your opinion, Bobby. I don't know which GOP candidate I'll vote for in 2024. If Trump earns my vote back, we will have to see. See, Jordan, perfect. I wish, listen, Jordan, I wish every Republican thought the way you do right now. I'm not saying I'm a never Trumper. I'm a not sure Trumper right now. I was an anti-Trumper last week. Now I'm a not sure Trumper. Maybe I'll be a Trumper again if he keeps doing what he's doing. But have self-esteem, guys. Don't act like Democrats is all I'm saying. Quit acting like monolithic Democrats when it comes to Donald Trump. Call him out if you see something wrong. Don't clam up just because he's Donald Trump, right? He's not Christ. Nobody is above critique, guys. Nobody, myself included. Make the guy earn your vote. Have self-esteem. Don't act like Democrats, man. Don't be promiscuous with your votes is all I'm saying. Don't be easy. If you get my drift, quit being so easy for Trump. Make the guy court you. Make the guy date you. Make the guy prove that he's the prize. All the principles that apply to dating, apply that to Donald Trump, man. Oh, the Trump economy was awesome. I miss the Trump economy. I really do. Who would I like to see run other than DeSantis? I hate to see the ugly of it, but he did expose Jeb Bush. Listen, Trump will forever go down as a legend. Trump ended 3 dynasties, single-handedly. 3 dynasties he ended. What are the 3 dynasties that Trump ended, guys? Anybody know? Put them in the comments. What 3 dynasties that none of us could stand that Donald Trump ended, that he will forever have credit for ending? He ended the Clinton dynasty. Bam, there you go, Renee. What's the next dynasty he ended? Clintons? Who else? Bush? Good. And it's funny because you're getting them in that order. What other dynasty did he end? McCain. That's another dynasty he ended. Although I would say McCain ended his own dynasty, which is how crappy he was. And the Cheneys. There you go. The Bush, the Clintons, and the Cheneys. Those are the dynasties he ended. He didn't end the Obama dynasty, Renee or Tish, because that dynasty kind of ended itself because Obama only had 2 terms, right? And I don't think that's a dynasty that'll ever be ended, if we're being honest. The Obamas are so popular. They're the darlings of the left. They're untouchable. They're worth hundreds of millions of dollars now. And I think we're dreaming if we ever think the Obama dynasty will end. I mean, they have their own show on Netflix. Let's just be real. The Obamas are here to stay. That name is gold to the left. I don't think anybody could ever end the Obama dynasty. I don't think anybody can do that. All right, guys. I enjoyed talking with you. That's all I got for today. Let's see what else you guys are having to say here. But yeah, it truly is good to see all of you guys. Be sure to like this video. Be sure to share it. Be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Click the notification bell so you know that when I upload, you can hear what your man Bobby Hesley has to say. And I truly do appreciate you guys for joining me. I love you all. And again, have that self-esteem. Make Donald Trump earn your vote. Don't just cast it at his feet just because he's Trump. He's got a long road ahead of him over these next 2 years, guys. He's got to survive the FBI now. He's got to survive Biden. He's got to survive all these people that are going to try to bring him down. And if he can get through that, and if he can stay on message and not self-destruct, and I know that's a tall order, he's got my vote. I will support him all day, guys. I will support him all day, as I've been known for doing. So thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you on the next video. Take care. Peace.